Welcome back to the Ravens Roundtable Tuesday edition. And I think I've been home for about 2.5 hours from the game, and it was amazing to see that much purple in a visiting city. I don't want to say it was 50-50 because it did get loud in there early when the Saints had a chance, but it was a lot of purple in that to be in an away game. But thankful for safe travels, and we're gonna get our roundtable going, and we're gonna kind of breeze through it because normally our streams are short when we win, and we get into controversial topics when we lose. So I don't know. The only controversial topic today may be the same thing as last week, Roquan over a receiver, but I don't know how we're gonna get into it and how that's gonna go. But we'll see. So let me bring everybody in. First, we're gonna bring in Hendo.
What's
What's up,
going on?
Hendo?
Not much. Thank you for having me once again.
Cool,
Appreciate being
cool,
here.
cool. And I'm bringing Chris.
Yo, what's going on, fellas?
What's up?
Another edition. And the last two, we got our LBHT crew, Jose and B.
Hey.
Fellas.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, Coach? Thanks for having me.
So let's run through where everybody can see your stuff real quick, and we'll start off with Hendo. We'll go to Chris, and we'll finish with Jose and B. Where can they find you, Hendo?
You can find me every Sunday at 7 p.m. after the Ravens game or any special days after a game. I'll stream. You can check me out on Ravens Online on Gatekeepers on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at R Gatekeepers, and you can also find me on Twitch at the same address.
Chris.
You can find me at Chris Just Joking on Twitter, and you can find me on the Deep Cover Podcast on YouTube, and also any podcast site that you use.
All right, Jose and B.
All right, lunch break hot take. We do a live stream every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at LBHT Show. And if you notice what I'm wearing here, the Ring Kings gear. That is our other channel, Ring Kings Podcast, for all things boxing. So go ahead and hit to subscribe over there, and you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Ring Kings Pod.
All right. You got anything to say? You want to do Mikey's part?
Yes. Yeah, definitely follow Open Mic with OTR Mike. He's on YouTube. He's on. I'm not sure what his social handles are. It's OTR _Mike. I believe.
So on Twitter and Instagram is OTR _Mike. TikTok is OTR Mike _.
Yeah, and like Chris said, also he's on every podcast platform. Make sure you listen and leave a 5-star review. And shout out to Noah.
Shout out to Noah. And also, I want to say
that's an inside joke for those that don't know.
I'm not sure if you guys got to check out the new OTR Mike episode for all you coaches out there, especially the local coaches. He's covering the recent fight between the two head coaches between City and Poly. That's like the big rival game in the city. That fight broke out there, and both teams ended up being eliminated from the playoffs because of the two coaches fighting. So he gave his thoughts on that. So
let me ask a question about that. So the two teams that got eliminated, who does anybody take their place, or does the next team get a bye, or how did that work?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't even know.
It'd be crazy to take a loser. Which loser would you take that they beat the week before to put in that spot?
I think it's an automatic forfeit for the next game. So that person, that next team probably just gets a bye.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Even though it was an unfortunate situation, and I saw it. I didn't know it was Baltimore, but I did see it on social media.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Start with QB play. Start with Lamar. Hendo, you can start. Talk about LJ8.
For me, this game, I'd give Lamar a C. He's still out there doing Lamar type things, carrying the team, but the passing game was virtually non-existent. 12 for 22, 133 yards. I think after halftime, he only completed 2 passes.
Mm-hmm.
He did rush for 82 yards, and he made some plays when he needed to, but there were 4 throws that he was off target, and I think he missed 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Against the Saints, that's fine because Andy Dalton in prime time, we really didn't need it. But going forward, like I say all the time, for me, it's about the playoffs. he has to get that under wraps because this isn't a one-time thing. Lamar has been missing throws, even though he's been spectacular and he's been everything we needed him to be. He still struggles with anticipatory throws and the deep pass sometimes. I don't know if he's missing Hollywood, but you know, he has to get that deep pass under wraps.
Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with what Hendo said. Obviously, he does, the spectacular Lamar things where it looks like he's about to get sacked, and he got Morgan Moses trying to strip him, and he gets the ball back. So obviously, he did his thing in that department. But like Hendo said, there's some gimme throws that he just, it's inexplicable. Like why is he missing those passes? We're used to him hitting those passes. Like it's not like these are difficult passes for Lamar to make. So it's frustrating to see, but hopefully after the bye, we'll get things together. But those easy gimme throws, he's got to complete those. There's no excuse for that.
Those ones we call bunnies.
Mm-hmm.
B?
I'd probably give him like a C+. He was okay. He did miss some throws. I don't really agree with people that the Isaiah Likely throw was a miss on the crosser. I think he was just trying to lead him upfield.
Oh yeah, that was a difficult throw
into
too.
Space. So I think that was intentional and Likely just wasn't on the same page. And I think that's probably down to him being a rookie and them not playing together too much. But yeah, he missed some other easy throws, but he also made some plays. I mean, it was an okay game.
Jose?
I'm giving them an A. Listen, I'm grading the whole offense on the curve. Okay, if you're not going to invest in the offense and you're saying, "Hey, we're going to get it done on defense," and you just need to be good enough, they're good enough, right? Look, yes, he missed a couple throws, but like we said before, every quarterback has those that they miss. It's just amplified with this team because we don't get those second and third opportunities to run that play back. We just don't throw the ball enough, and they're not leaning on him, obviously, to get the passing game going, right? They just not that interested. They want him to get the running game going. That's what he did. I think he did his job, right? He put up enough points on the field, and the defense, which we'll get to later, they did their job. I'm giving them an A.
Okay. Grade wise for me, I think I'm gonna stay with the C. The C is great, and the reason I say that is because as Mike said, he says, "Fellas, sorry can't be with you, but I'm with you." LOL. Appreciate you, Mike.
My man.
Hey, we gonna rep for you. We gonna rep for you.
Indeed.
Put your grade in the chat. Put your grade.
Yeah,
put
your grade in your quarterback grade in the chat. C, because again, like he missed some bunnies, but I'm gonna just talk about two throws, and both of them went to Isaiah Likely. The one where he tried to get it over the guy with the underneath coverage, that was the difficult throw. The one Likely dropped at the sideline was a cuss word dime. Likely just dropped it. Now, and there were some bunnies that he missed throughout there, but he just needs to be more consistent. He was excellent in the run game. Excellent leadership is what I'm starting to take from him. Vocal leadership, that's what I say. Not excellent. Vocal leadership. He's starting to get mad and get on people's ass, which is what he's gonna have to do, to take this to the next level. Because of the offensive roster, he's gonna have to be freaking Superman. And that's what it is with that. Mikey, let me see. Mikey gave Freaky L a B. Now I will say, all last night I had like 4 Saints fans in front of me, and I just kept hollering Freaky L, Freaky L. I know it was wondering like, what is this dude talking about? I hollered Freaky L all night. Anybody else got something about quarterbacks?
No, I wish that dude was in here from last week so he could see us, actually criticizing Lamar.
Right.
He's probably here.
It might be a name change or something.
He's probably here. He just don't want to say nothing.
That A was for him. That's right.
Appreciate
I'm
the 5,
giving
Brandon. Brandon says,
What's
when
up,
your
Brandon?
number one wide receiver is a glorified special teams player, you probably won't do well. Hey, I'm just not. We don't have a number one wide receiver. We just got some guys out there. We got some 0.5s out there.
I do want to ask you this though, Coach. Like some of those missed throws, especially for the one in the end zone, they touched on it on the broadcast. like, is part of that just because like he doesn't have that chemistry with those guys? Like, I mean, look, his top pass catchers are out. Bateman's out. Andrews is out. And they didn't really drop any plays for Duvernay last night. So, like, you think it might be a bit of uncomfort for just throwing to Demarcus Robinson when he's not the most reliable guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Deshaun Jackson, he had his one catch and hammy play, right? Like,
I thought he had two. Did they take one back?
They took
Did
one
they take
back.
that one back? The RPO when they took back?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Does that factor into like the just the off timing on
I think
the throws?
it's part chemistry. I think it's part that, and I also think it's part fundamentals. Like he make a lot of throws not in the ideal quarterback base, but he's so athletic he can do that. And then sometimes they bite him in the butt. Like the throw that he skipped when the kid was wide open. I think it was DeMarcus coming across on the shallow.
Mm-hmm.
He just threw all off platform, and he basically skipped rocks. That's what it looked like. He was skipping rocks because that ball wasn't nowhere close to DeMarcus. I mean, at least from where I was sitting. I don't know how it looked on the TV, but it looked like it was like 4 or 5 yards short. Was it like that?
Yeah, it was.
That was a bad
My
one.
seats weren't good, so I ain't gonna front. I had all 22 live. So I was way up top. So but it looked like it skipped on us there. On him rather. But I think it's more so he, trying to throw off platform because he want to run, but he, it's just he gotta settle down. But that play that he threw, what likely dropped it, he stood in the pocket with great mechanics. People were around him. I don't know if he took a lick, but that was a dime and likely just dropped it on it. He even though likely dove for it, but I was impressed by that throw. But a lot of the other stuff is just it's like he rushing to me. All right, let's go to what's next? Running backs. Jose, let you start with that
one. I'm gonna give it a B plus. Kenyon Drake, that first half, we were all in the Discord, and I was like, what is wrong with this guy? Why does he keep falling down? Right? And Hendo thought maybe he had the wrong cleats on or something, because like he wasn't even getting touched. He was just going down. I was like, why are you doing that? But they changed the cleats out at halftime, because he came out that second half and he was putting it away. I really like what I saw from Kenyon Drake. Justice Hill didn't get that much involved, but he did fine. And obviously, Lamar is a big reason why they all get going. But I love the way Kenyon Drake finished those drives off, because I mean, a couple of those drives, they're like, we're not even gonna pretend like we're gonna pass. We're just gonna give it to Kenyon Drake, and they couldn't do anything about it. So I love seeing that.
Jose. I mean, B. I'm sorry, B. I was reading, so I'm sorry. I was reading the chat. And my bad.
I give the running backs a C. I mean, I'm not going to count Lamar with the running backs. Kenyon Drake had one. He had a good half, and he is really the only one that got anything going. But he was very good in the second half, so that brings him up to a C.
Mike Davis, Mike Davis had a nice little catch at the backfield and took it for a first down. I want to shout out him because he doesn't get that much play. So
yeah, screw Mike Davis, but whatever. That's cool.
Wow, he didn't do nothing to you,
right? Yes, he did for an entire year. What do you mean,
Chris?
I'm gonna give the running back an A. I thought Kenyon Drake had a good game. There's times where he just, he looks like the Alabama Kenyon Drake, and it's sporadic. Like it's not always going to be there. Like against the Panthers, he might not look like that, but when it's on, it's on. So, yeah, I mean, he looked great. So, major props to him. And it looked like they went with the hot hand approach because they didn't really rotate anybody else in there. They gave Justice a few carries, but they really rolled the hot hand with Drake, and he put on.
Hendo.
I give the running backs an A minus. First half, Kenyon Drake, he wasn't doing that well, but in the second half, when we really needed him, I think he stepped up. I slept on Kenyon Drake this whole year, but he showed me something yesterday, and it would have been an A, but that minus has to come from Justice Hill. 4 carries, 11 yards. I just don't think that this coaching staff has trust in him anymore, and that's why he's getting less and less carries throughout the game, because Kenyon Drake should not be the only guy coming in and running the ball throughout the whole game. And I think to that extent, Lamar ran it a little bit too much. Like he took too many hits this game, and I just think some of those hits should have went Justice Hill's way.
Yeah, I didn't like how many times he carried the ball either, especially once the game was kind of put away, so to speak. Yeah. I didn't like that drive where I think he ran the first 3 plays he ran the ball.
Yep.
I felt like them should have been guaranteed handoffs with maybe like a tight end or something cutting off the back end. But as far as the running backs, Kenyon Drake, he's really doing a lot more than I thought he had left. And I questioned if he had anything left in the tank. These last 2 games maybe that he's shown me that he does have something left, like he's just getting his legs under him. And I don't know the situation with Gus. I mean, not with Gus, with JK. But when Gus comes back and with Drake and I'm gonna say Justice, because Justice will probably play more than Mike because he does the special team stuff. But Mike, like Chris said, Mike don't get a lot of shine, but Mike be blocking his butt off on them speed sweeps and chipping. He chipped somebody, and all I saw was like legs going out like sprawled up. I was like, well, at least he's doing something. He part of it somewhere.
That's the one where he got the catch.
That is the same play. Yep. Yeah. He chipped the guy on the end, and he went flying, and he got quality first yards on that because it was like 2nd and 17 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a 3rd and manageable situation. So I get a running backs a B. I'm good with what they did. Ricard's doing his thingamajig or whatever, but as long as they're not lining them up and throwing it to him, I'm cool with it. So that's where I'm at. As long as they ain't using him as a Drewski, I'm good. Because that's what he looked like out there, especially when he lined up like Drewski. D Ravens dropped 10. He says we always talk about how many different receiver groups we will take over ours, but I'd be interested to see how many groups we take in other positions. Oh, that man, that's. But this is an opinion-based thing, D Ravens. We, and we always gonna you go look at any team, and if any team got quality content creators, they're gonna look at their weaknesses and say what they would want over others. So it's if we had a good receiving core, we'd be talking about how bad our O-line was or what O-line would take. Oh, it'd always be something. So it's not complaining, it's just comparing to what other teams got, especially the successful teams.
Listen,
that's my 2 cents on it.
If we had to sacrifice D-line or linebacker for a good wide receiver core, I'll take it.
Yeah, me too. I would too.
All right. Who are you asking to win the games? Lamar.
Right. Exactly. And you got to because I was a huge optimist about it, but they put too much on the kid, man. Too much. He gotta be Superman. He got
every game.
And it's crazy. Hold on, let me show these real quick. I might have to mute somebody. That's why I called you the wrong name. I was checking to see if I might have to mute somebody. So don't charge to my head, charge to my heart. let's go on to wide receiver and tight end play. This one should be quick. Chris.
You had to pick me for this one, huh?
Yes.
I mean, what can we say? I mean, they were there. I mean, no, seriously though. I mean, this is how it's going to be with this group. I mean, we're not going to have Bateman there. I don't even think Deshaun got through a half, so it's gonna be tough sledding for this group as far as the wide receivers are concerned. Likely had the touchdown catch, but you like you said earlier, Coach, he has to make that catch, the one where he dropped. Like that's inexcusable right there. You got him there. I thought Prochet had a few, nice little chain moving catches. Nothing too spectacular or anything like that. DeMarcus Robinson would have had a better day if Lamar was on point a little bit more. And I like what I'm seeing from DeMarcus Robinson. He's bringing a lot of energy to the group. Something we don't really see. The wide receivers are really like a low key kind of bunch, which is strange to see. But he brings a lot of energy to that group. And another week and. It doesn't seem like they wanted to get Duvernay involved. So, that's a little bit disappointing. But when you get the win, I mean, hey, you got the win. But I wish they would get Duvernay involved a little bit more.
Big play Prochet. Hendo.
I'm gonna get a wide receiver called B on the strength of DeMarcus Robinson. He should have had more yards. He should have had a touchdown. He got open.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank. I might have to give him a C plus. I'm not sure because Devin Duvernay, according to Mike, is supposed to be our new number one, and he had less yards than Pat Ricard. He had 1 catch for 5 yards. Pat Ricard had 1 catch for 7 yards. But I will say MVP Channel 3, James Prochet led the team in catches with 2.
That's right, Channel 3.
But that's kind of sad though. Him and Kenyon Drake, they were the only 2 people to have 2 catches.
And it's crazy. They had 2 catches and 10 people caught balls.
Yes.
Or 9, 10 or 9.
10 or 9. And I was all prepared. I had my little speech written out. I was at the beginning of the game. I'm writing it out. My, Isaiah Likely apology tour. I'm getting ready to write it up. I'm like, oh, that was a beautiful route that he ran for that 24-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, maybe I was wrong about the kid. He's a rookie, But then came the drops. They reared their ugly head. And if that 2. And if that last one had gone for an interception, I'd have killed him.
And it almost did.
I'd have roasted him. But
it almost did.
He's
But you know
learning.
what? In defense of that play, that was that series where the plays were coming in late. We got the false start. It was 3 plays of clusterness that we looked like a peewee team.
Hey, coach, a ball hit you right in dead center mass.
It's
no excuse for that.
True that.
And you're wide.
You're right.
And you're wide open.
You're a pro, so you're supposed to catch that. You're right. You're a pro. All pros supposed to catch wide open balls. You're right. No excuse on that. But I still that play, that series of plays, not including
it was
bothered me because from the top, from the coaching aspect. But I'll talk about that when we get to the coaching part. Jose.
All right, because I'm grading on the curve and I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give them a C. Okay, they did enough, right? I mean, that's just what it is. Like, yes, DeMarcus Robinson should have had a better game, but he didn't do anything to try to make it any better, right? And me and B were talking about this before we came on the stream. Like, better talented wide receivers. Not saying that they would absolutely make those catches, but they would try to adjust. Like the one pass that was behind him, he didn't even try to turn around to try to get it. He slowed down, but he just let the ball go right by him. That's the thing about this wide receiver core is Lamar has to be perfect on these passes. These wide receivers aren't going to make any adjustments, right? So there's very, very little room for error with this wide receiver core and with Andrews out, because Andrews is the one guy that can make those type of adjustments. But like I said, it did enough. Isaiah Likely, he's going to be up and down. I mean, he's a 4th round rookie. I don't have any problems with how he played overall. Even that bobble pass is like I just hope he doesn't turn into Ricky Dudley. You guys remember Ricky Dudley?
He's throwing some old stuff out there.
Yes. Like Ricky Dudley, he had those games where he makes some amazing catches. He's like, yeah, that's the guy. And then it seemed like every bobble catch would turn into an interception for the other team. So as long as he doesn't turn into that, I think he'll be just fine. But overall, I'm gonna give him a C, man. Like, look, shout out to James Prochet. I almost wore my Channel 3 hoodie. I might save it for tomorrow. I got a Channel 3 hoodie. Everybody calls me a Prochet hater, but how many of you have a Channel 3 hoodie? Okay? I have
it. For me, no, B. Go B. Go for me, B.
Man, that's 2 now.
No.
If you don't want me here, just say you don't want me here.
No. I'm monitoring this situation over here. My bad.
I give him an F.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say an F minus, but then I listened to y'all's arguments. But no, I
now
mean,
it's an F.
Yeah, like they said, Lamar missed several throws, but when you see other quarterbacks miss throws, you see their receivers make plays on those throws to bail out their quarterback. It doesn't happen in Baltimore. He mentioned DeMarcus Robinson not even attempting to make a play on that ball that was behind him. Same thing with Josh Oliver on the play. It was the previous or maybe 2 plays before that was behind him. was a catchable pass, and
so
he
too.
didn't turn his body at all to try and make a play on it, right? And then you obviously have Likely with his 2 drops. And just, Chris, you said that they didn't want to get Devin Duvernay involved, which I thought was odd as well. But also at some point, Devin Duvernay has to get himself involved. You can't be the top receiver if they have to, get you gadget plays to get you open or scheme you open every week. You have to go out there and get open and make plays on your own. It's a very, very bad group. And my God, Deshaun Jackson is just a parody of himself at this point. Like you run out there, you run 5 routes and you're done. I mean, I'm sorry. I was kind of pulling for him. I thought he had something left, but he ain't got nothing left in them hamstrings. Man.
I was wondering, as soon as he caught that first down, he did the whole. I was like, man, please don't pull anything.
He pulled it. He pulled it right
there. Oh man!
But that was a good catch at the sideline though. It's just I
Yeah.
think that was his last play though, wasn't it?
I think
Yeah,
Deshaun
I think
Jackson
it
is still talented and he has a skill to be like a number 1 wide receiver. It's just he's 35.
Body.
Yeah.
The body's not gonna hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 2 drops by Likely bring the grade down for me, but I don't think they had enough opportunities because Lamar was it 12 for 22?
12 for 22.
Yeah.
So you probably take 4 of those away from bad throws. So that's you looking at what 18 opportunities.
Yep.
That ain't a lot. That ain't a lot for them. So they got to be for me just because they ain't have a lot of opportunities. So
Facts.
Oh yeah, I want to take my grade down, Coach.
go ahead.
I would make it a C- now because I just thought about it. Marshawn Lattimore didn't play, and they had some rookies out there playing.
Monte Taylor got hurt.
Yep, he got hurt, and the wide receiver still didn't do anything. So I'm gonna take that grade down a little bit to a C-.
Roman don't have nothing to do with that.
I mean, Roman does, but Roman doesn't drop passes
True.
or overthrow or underthrow balls.
True.
But he still need to be fired.
Let me take a look at these 2 super chats. 3. D Raven said it felt more like defense and run game. Lamar included won this game. Just didn't feel like it was on Lamar. It was on Lamar this last game at least. No, it wasn't. It was a collective effort. They couldn't stop the run once we decided to go ahead and do it. So that was, I don't know if you want to give Giro props for that, but he just ran the ball. You think we'll go after OBJ? No. OBJ say you want to play in warm weather, which I don't blame him with those injuries. I wouldn't want to complain of cold either.
I would if the money was right.
The money ain't gonna be right.
Yeah.
I don't care what it costs. Figure out how to fit him under the cap. Do whatever you got to do at this point. You struck out on everything else. That's the missing piece. You got to give Lamar something to work with. Because, again, even in the win, what are we talking about? Lamar didn't play great. He missed a couple of throws. Well, get him somebody that can at least, increase the chance of those plays turning into first downs and touchdowns. If you're not going to do that, look, I don't care if Lamar throws for under 100 yards. I'm going to give him an A every time. You're not giving him anything to work with.
True. And if you remember last year, what were we like $3 million under the cap? But we still tried to take on Xavier Howard's $15 million contract in a trade.
Yep.
So we can make the moves and we can make the money work if we really want somebody.
Yeah, if they play defense.
Facts.
I appreciate the 10B and it didn't come up, but B just hit his 3rd month being a member, and it came up on one stream, but it didn't come up on this one. So just so you know, B he was my first member and he just hit month 3. So salute to Brandon. He support me every kind of way.
Nice.
I appreciate you, B.
That's it.
Oh yeah. What Mike said. 235 people in here hit the like button. Appreciate it. O-line's next. Let's see. Let's start with you, B.
O-line, I would give a C-. I thought they were good in the run game. Not as good in the pass game. It's kind of a weekly thing at this point. Lamar got sacked, I believe it was 3 times. He was under pressure quite a bit. He was on the run on that Demarcus Robinson throw. I believe he was on the Josh Oliver throw as well. But it also comes down to Lamar stomping his feet and clapping his hands at Tyler Linderbaum 2 in a row to snap the ball, right? Like it's not all coming together, or it's coming together slower than we would like. But I mean, they weren't terrible or anything like that. But just the the making Lamar turn into mean Lamar has to bring your grade down a little bit.
Jose?
I'm gonna give him a B. Right? Yes, the pass blocking wasn't great, but like when you got somebody like Cam Jordan out there, it's gonna be you're gonna get pressure, right?
Mhm.
Demario Davis blitzing, right? Like those guys. I mean, they're the real deal. Even my guy Tano Passignon, he stepped up a little bit too, man. Like I thought he was gonna blow up in Kansas City. It took him a little while, but he's playing a lot better with.
You were practicing that pronunciation, wasn't
Listen.
it?
Shout out to why am I forgetting his name? Hunt. Emery Hunt. Yes, from Football Game Plan. He put me on to that guy. But yes, to no Passignon, he's playing a lot better for them. But yeah, the run game, they dominated them, right? And so much so that they just said, forget the passing. We're just gonna run it until they stop it, and they couldn't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could have possibly given them an A if they didn't have Morgan Moses out there. Okay,
Playing for the Saints.
Morgan Moses, why are you running routes down the field? Right? Why are you still having like these pre-snap penalties? Like the reason you're out there is so those things don't happen. You're supposed to be a veteran and those things aren't supposed to happen, but they keep happening with you. You're getting in Lamar's way on runs, right? Like it's too many things every week with him.
I'm gonna tell you what I noticed very first play of the game. They ran the little what two guys pulling. I don't know if it was power or the pin and pull. Somebody comes around. The first guy comes around the corner and blocks whoever it is. Moses comes around after him, and instead of just chipping and going up to the next guy, he stays on that block. The only person left out there is a honey badger, and he tackles Drake. If Moses just let that block happen with the other people and goes to honey badger, Drake's probably still running down Canal Street right now.
Yeah, there was one play. There was one play where the announcer's like, "Oh, good block by Morgan Moses." I'm like, he missed the block. Like he didn't even touch the guy.
It is what it is. Hiddo?
I give him a C plus. Run blocking phenomenal. Listen, the Saints have an excellent defensive line, like they said, and we dominated that run game. But pass blocking, we still were having little issues here and there, and it starts with Morgan Moses.
Mm-hmm.
We said this dude is an op. I don't know what team is paying him, but just some of the things that he's doing, you like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Why are you down? Why are you the only offensive lineman downfield on this pass play?
Because he went from jump and sprinted downfield. The rest of them couldn't catch up to him.
Yeah, just penalty after penalty with this guy. He tried to tackle Lamar. He's getting in his way. Like, I just think for now, we just need to get Fa'alele that experience for the playoffs and let him figure it out because Moses just isn't that guy.
Get the fire from what he said. Sup, coach and fellas, great win. Looks like we got our generation of Ray Lewis. Oh Lord. Now with Smith, that's Smith and PQ connection is something special now. I ain't gonna put it on him yet, but a couple plays that I looked at when I was looking at the all 22. And I just say when we get the defense. We almost had defense. I ain't gonna even appreciate you, Will. And Will finally saw that he won the blanket. I had to go back and tell him my live stream while I was walking down Canal Street. I saw he was in there, and I was like, go look at the last 10 minutes because I hadn't heard nothing from him as far as getting his address and stuff like that. But I got it now, and I'll get his blanket out to him because he won the loyalty points for the month.
Mm-hmm.
He won first place. Free Wi-Fi won second. Free Wi-Fi got his stuff last week.
Nice.
Will's stuff will be going out probably tomorrow or the next day. My wife's gonna make sure I get it out. She don't like me to be late on stuff. So that's appreciate you, Will. Appreciate you. Let's flip to the defense side. I think we got everybody.
Hey, quick shout out to Charles Xavier in the chat who's loving the stream.
Yeah,
listen.
Right?
I love trolls like that because they say they hate us, but they show up every week to watch us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also,
he definitely cutting up.
If you're going off PFF, Morgan Moses had a 93 grade from PFF, so that's all you need to know.
And
what they had to say.
Justin Houston was what the 12th highest ranked
How?
defender.
How?
He had I think it was like a 58 pass rushing grade. So.
I do want to shout out the new member too, CBG3 Green. Appreciate you becoming a member. Appreciate it.
What's going Thank you.
Now let's bop to the defensive side. We'll start with D-line play.
Oh, I didn't go for the offense.
No,
Oh,
he
my
didn't.
bad. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Dang.
Go ahead.
Oh, word, man. What I do to you?
Man, Coach is still in New Orleans.
Probably. My bad. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. My bad.
No, obviously, the Morgan Moses struggles, whether it's pre-snap penalties or, trying to run a route like he's a wide receiver, that just can't happen. Like Hendo said, you're the vet. Those mental mistakes you cannot do. But when he's on though, because there are some times where he just looks brilliant. And I saw somebody in the chat say like he shouldn't be pulling. He's a good puller. Like he's very athletic when he's out in space.
Extremely athletic.
Now in a phone booth, sometimes that athleticism just gets lost somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But when he pulls, he is pretty athletic. But what I wanted to talk about was Ronnie Stanley, what he did, the way the leadership that he showed. When Lamar was frustrated, and understandably so. You got you're trying to run this play, and 2 straight times. Your center doesn't get the ball, and I'm not too sure if it's really on Linderbaum or not. I think it might be on Zeitler, who's supposed to be tapping him for the silent count. So, but I give props to Stanley because, Stanley could have got all crazy and got all in his emotions too, but he was on the sideline talking to Lamar, following him, and that's what you want to see from a veteran leader, your All-Pro left tackle. So I thought that was great, and you see them on Twitter clowning Skip Bayless. So
right,
I like that's what I like to see, and you want to see that passion from the dudes on your team because they know how important this season is. Lamar wants to get paid; they want to win the Super Bowl, and it's good to see that fire. We don't want to see dudes just lackadaisical, like all right, whatever, we got a penalty. You want to see them fired up. So I was happy to see that.
Now that's everybody. Shout out to my the DM I just got for doing what you do. I appreciate you. I ain't got to say it. You already know what you did. Appreciate it. Now we'll jump over. My bad on that, Chris. I'm sorry. My mind might be still in New Orleans because I had a great time. Again, if you don't know, that's my second favorite city in the world, New Orleans. I love being there just that much. I don't want to live there. I just like being there.
Just like to visit.
Right. All right. Now we'll go to D-line play. And we'll start with you, Jose.
I'm gonna give him an A. I'm gonna give just about everybody. I'm spoiler alert. I'm giving everybody defense an A. They played great. They not just about. I have a small criticism. We'll get to that when we get there.
Okay.
But no, D-line, everybody is excellent, man. Calais Campbell had a hit that I haven't seen a Ravens player make in years on the quarterback. And it just felt so good to see that happen. Yeah, man. Look, they bottled up a Kamara for the most part. They're applying pressure on Andy Dalton all night. I just didn't see anything bad that they did out there. So yeah, A for me.
All right. And on that hit, he pulled off a little bit at the end.
That was the thing because he didn't want that penalty.
Yeah,
that was smart.
Yeah. B.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you say D-line, that's the only thing that runs through my mind is Calais breaking Andy Dalton in half. He walked off the field like he was about to go beg them to put Jameis in the game. But no, I agree with Jose. I think they did a really nice job, particularly stopping Kamara. I mean, it wasn't 100% the D-line. Obviously, that's a group effort, but they got pressure. They stopped the run game, and they pretty much shut down New Orleans offense altogether. So yeah, I mean, I think I would give the D-line an A.
Chris?
Yeah, man. They really set the tone, the defensive line. They kept Kamara in check, like Jose said, and we can't gloss over that hit on Andy Dalton. That was beautiful to see, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing from this group. It's been taking a little bit of time. They kind of got off to a little bit of a rough start there after the Jets game, but I like what I'm seeing. I like the rotation now. You got Brent Urban contributing. You got Washington contributing. So when you could get those role guys in there too, along with the starters, things really start clicking for you.
I guess it's a consensus. I give them an A. They controlled the line of scrimmage. They kept Alvin Kamara in check. That Calais Campbell hit, I give it to him. Like you said, it was smart of him to pull up at the end so he didn't get the penalty. But also Justin Madubuike for batting down that pass and Urban hitting that pass for the interception.
Yeah.
So, they controlled it. I give them an A. I think things are looking up for them, especially with the rotation now and not having Calais play as many snaps as they did in the past.
Any idea on the percentage of the snaps?
It didn't matter because, listen, we had 2 7-minute drives, so we controlled the time of possession the whole game. So the defense really didn't have to play that much. So I guess just by proxy of that, he was fresh.
I think I looked up at halftime when they showed the time possession. It was like 12 minutes to 8, or maybe no, it's 30 minutes and a half. So it had to be like 20 minutes to 8 or something like that, right before halftime. And I know they had a lot of quick drives. I think their first two, first two wasn't 3 and outs, but they had some 3 and outs or some 4 or 5 and outs, and the defense was fresh almost every time. Them boys was getting out there ASAP before the TV timeout could even start. All 11 of them on the field just hungry.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the D line, I just like their consistency. If they can put together a stretch of playing like that, it's gonna bode well for the team. I don't know if it's gonna bode well for Lamar, but it's gonna bode well for the team. Linebackers. Let's go with the edge guys. Let's start with the edge guys. With Houston, and I guess we're gonna talk about Houston. We'll start there because Houston is going nuts right now. B, you can start.
Yeah, Houston gets an A+. I was shocked. I saw Kenyon Drake talking about he got the random drug test. I was sure it was going to be Justin Houston.
Right.
Three straight games of multiple sacks. He had, I think, another 3 QB hits. Obviously he had the interception. I mean, he's been fantastic. Just hopefully he can keep that up. Tyus Bowser, I thought, looked pretty good in his return as well. Especially considering how long he's been out and the kind of injury he's coming back from. Unfortunate to see Jason Pierre-Paul go down, and then it's unfortunate to see that Owe continues to play. But overall, I would say it was a very strong game from the edge rushers, led obviously by Houston and a bit by Bowser as well.
Cool. Chris.
Yeah, man. Justin Houston, I don't know what kind of deer antler spray he got, but it's working. That dude, he's playing out of his damn mind right now. So major props to him. He's doing historic stuff right now where he's having, 3 multiple sack games in a row. And, props to him. Shout out to him. And, it was fun to see Tyus back out there. And then, of course, in typical Ravens fashion, you get one player back and then one gets hurt. It just seems like that's how it goes. JK's back, Gus comes back, and then JK gets hurt. It seems like that's just how it is. So hopefully it's not too bad with JPP, because once you have him in the fold and Tyus, and then you get Ojabo in there, that is a serious rotation where you could just have pass rushers coming in fresh all game and not giving any offensive tackles a break when it comes to these dudes, these secondary dudes you got rushing.
Not Owe in the rotation.
Always playing well. Always playing. He's not getting the sack numbers, but he's playing well.
Let me ask you something. With Owe, with his athleticism, would he be better more in the stand-up game as like a linebacker, like an inside linebacker, maybe?
I think he's too stiff.
Too stiff.
That is true.
Yeah, I think he's too stiff. I think part of his situation is he's bulked up too much. He didn't put on functional strength. He just put on bulk. I feel like he just can't move. Now I'd be trolling talking about how bad he played, but to be real, I think he's just too stiff right now. He can't, like, some of the stuff you saw him, even though he didn't have a lot of production in college in his first year, but some of the stuff you saw him do then when the potential was there. He can't move like that right now because he's
So, Coach, I mentioned this on the Deep Cover podcast because I remember watching something about him during the offseason where he said, because he couldn't work out his shoulder because he got the surgery. and he said he really put an emphasis on working his legs out because he felt like his legs weren't under him at the second half of the season. So I feel like what you said right now is he might have just went a little bit too overboard, bulking his legs up. Because I don't really see that same explosiveness that I saw last year in the rookie season. So I mean, obviously we don't know, but I could just go by what he said, and it just doesn't look the same.
All right. I agree with you. It's like he's robotic, really, extremely robotic.
Now, another question. I know I'm throwing a lot of questions out there.
Nah, that's cool.
So I watched your guys' episode on D-Cover where you talked about how many snaps, the snap count that he's getting, and he's playing like 90% of the snaps on defense. With Ojabo, healthy, and Bowser coming back, and they say JPP should be healthy, come out the bye. Do you think his snaps decrease, and you think that would help him with production wise?
I mean, we've already seen them decrease.
Yeah, I think they decreased last night. I'm finna go look. Go ahead, Chris. I'm gonna go look while you.
Actually, I got it up. He played 29 snaps, 57% of the snaps. And then when you compare it to Houston played 33 snaps, which was 65%. And then Bowser actually played more than both of them. Bowser played 34, which was 67% of the snaps.
Okay,
so you had a good rotation.
Yeah.
Who else played edge? Just them three. Did y'all see Malik on the edge at all?
He only played a handful of snaps. He played 7 snaps.
Ooh, Malik.
Yeah, 2 tackles.
The Roquan effect on Malik was drastic, wasn't it? That's crazy.
The Roquan effect going to be you're looking for 2 new inside linebackers next year.
Possibly. Who I know I'm missing somebody with D-line. Who I missed?
We on O line. We on outside linebackers, coach.
I got D-line up there. Still in New Orleans. I know I missed somebody on outside linebackers.
Okay, I give him an A++. Like LL said, trust in Houston. The ageless wonder. 2.5 sacks, an interception. He is our pass rush right now. And the extra plus has to go to Tyus Bowser, because for the time that he's been off, he looked really, really good. Now, it would have probably been 3 pluses, but of course, we got Jason Owe out there.
Disrespectful.
Somebody in the comments said it looked like he's pulling a horse pulling a chariot. First, the excuses were he's playing too many snaps. Now, with the time of possession that we had yesterday and the decreased snaps, he's still not doing it. I don't think he's being coached up right, for one. For two, he has no pass rush moves. He thinks his athleticism is going to beat these NFL tackles, and he's going to get to the quarterback. Now, he may lead the league, lead the team in pressures, but for a first-round pick, it's just not enough.
All right. Yeah, I know how I feel about him. I'm not a huge fan of Owe right now. I wasn't a huge fan when we picked him, but he showed promise to me last year. But he's regressed, and I really think it's what like we talked about earlier, because he just bulked up and can't move. I don't really think he's a sucky player. He's playing sucky right now, and I just don't think he can move like he could. Now, somebody mentioned he's doing a good job of setting the edge. At times, at the beginning of the year he was not doing that, but he might be doing it now. But I haven't looked at his play extensively to say that's true or not. But the rest of the cats balling for the most part. But Owe, yeah, I just hope JPP's health holds up down the stretch. I hope Bowser's health holds up down the stretch, because we're gonna need guys to play. And I just hate that if they get hurt, we got to depend on Owe.
Another thing too that it's not always fault. Like he has to get picked here, right? But when you let Matt Judon go, and the talk is he's gonna be better than Matt Judon. Matt Judon, who has 11.5 sacks right now, people, 11.5 sacks through 9 games. Who also knew how to set the edge over here, right? Look, man, that's the comparison, right? That's the comparison. So I'm looking at Owe with your 1 sack. I mean, I understand they got you doing a lot, and it's your second year, but man, you get picked in the first round, you're replacing somebody like Judon. The expectation is high.
Excuse me, Jose. I thought the comparison. Never mind.
No. You're not. No. I object. I object. Okay, I gotta defend my man Garnett on that. Okay, I'm his legal representative there. Okay.
Red says if you go by his college stats, then he doing exactly what he got drafted for. Well, Reg be owning, boy. I thought I used to be owning. Reg be owning.
But where's the lie?
I didn't call him a lie. I just said he be owning.
But where's the lie? He's showing us what he showed in college. Flashes.
Right. Real quick. And it's the flash when the car passed by too. When they take the tag. Let's go to inside linebackers, and that'll include Roquan, Queen, and the little taste that Malik played. B, start with that.
Yeah, again, I would say an A. I thought they played really well. I think key is that didn't really notice Patrick Queen all that much, except for the one play where he was busy celebrating Kamara not catching the ball and not realizing that he could have made a play on the ball. But that's neither here nor there. Overall, I thought they did a really, really nice job. And obviously, I think it's only going to get better with Roquan as he gets more comfortable in Baltimore.
Jose?
Yeah, A+. I think Roquan Smith. I mean, this is all going to be centered around Roquan Smith. He set the tone for everybody on defense. I haven't seen anybody on the defense play the way they play with that sense of urgency, that extra burst, that little bit of extra violence on their hits until he got there. And setting the tone, those first two plays, like you said, Coach. I mean, like he met Al Kamara in the hole on one play, right?
No falling forward.
Right. We weren't hitting like that before he got there. Right. And I think he just set the tone, and that's what happens when you bring in talented players, leaders on the field, right? That can set that tone. It brings a certain energy to everybody. I think they all felt it, and they're all trying to match his energy. So yeah, A+.
Hendo?
I give him an A. Like you said, Roquan set that tone early on, those two back-to-back plays on that first drive, hitting Alvin Kamara. And I think him being here kind of lights a fire under Patrick Queen, because he knows if he doesn't up his game, he might possibly be out of here, because there's no fifth-year option. They may want to recoup that pick. But I just think that even Malik is playing a little bit better. He's not playing as many snaps as he was, but I just think that Roquan ups the intensity of this defense.
Of everybody, yeah, I agree. Chris?
Yeah, man. Basically what everybody else is saying, you could see the effect that Roquan had on the defense right away. Like, it was just a different type of energy there. And, like you said, it wasn't tackling and getting pushed back. It was tackling and doing the pushing back. It wasn't any kind of second effort yardage that we've seen. And, a guy like that, he's somebody that, Kerry Stevens, he calls gravity players, guys who can have that kind of effect on not just the position that he plays, but the entire defensive side of the ball. And I think we saw some of that yesterday. And, as it goes on, we'll see him get there. He didn't play all the snaps yesterday. I think he was out of the dime looks. But once he gets this defense down and just gets more acclimated to the guys around him, it's going to be lights out.
I remember one play, and I didn't watch it extensively. They ran something, and his gap responsibility was not where the ball went. But once Kamara, I think it was Kamara, hit the other gap, it's like he teleported to the gap Kamara was in and bust him in the mouth. Yeah. How he got there that fast, I do not know. How he got through that trash that fast, I do not know. But he got there, and again, the tackle, it wasn't no hit him and he fall forward, or he, kind of dive out of there and get an extra yard or two. He was hitting people and they was going down where the contact was made. So that was that was crazy for me. And I give him an A2, but I'm gonna stand for Queen. I don't really know how well he played or whatnot, but I know Roquan played pretty darn good off the eye test and not studying where it's at. Did I miss anybody on linebackers? I think I got everybody on that one. Yeah, we're good on that one. Let's see where we at. We are at, I'm in the wrong screen. DBs, cornerback and safeties. I'm gonna start on this one.
Okay.
I think everybody played okay, but I'm really concerned with Peters. People are picking on Peters like they don't respect him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's hurt or if he's just lost a step or he's just playing more mental than physical. I'm not sure, but people are starting to pick on Peters, and I don't know if he just can't handle it. I'm not saying he's making bad plays, but I'm talking about the mental part of it. Like, because push the dude out of bounds. And then they throwing at him, and, you know, the touchdown they dropped, he just quit on that one. Like, I don't know what he was upset about or why. I just don't know. He concerned me. That's where I'm at. He concerned me. Hendo?
Okay. I agree with you, Coach. I give the secondary a B. Marlon, he's playing back to 2019 standards, sans the forced fumbles. I am concerned with Marcus Peters as well. We all know with his injury, it normally takes a year and a half, 2 years to come back. He's a step slow, and I don't know if he's favoring his injury. I don't blame him for that missed tackle on the sideline because the angle that he took, he thought he had him out. It was just that he hit him on the side. That should have been on Chuck Clark. And Chuck Clark is the reason I don't give this group an A, because he said he's standing there watching this dude run while he's pointing at the ground. You played to the whistle. I didn't hear a whistle. Did you?
Right.
He should have just played to the whistle. And Chuck Clark is just, I don't know if he's got something on his mind, but I have to give credit to Kyle Hamilton because he was all over the field. He had 6 tackles. He actually had a very decent game. So I think the secondary.
The question for you, Hendo.
I know. I'm just waiting for you to ask.
Was that a first round picks type of game? No, I'm not trolling.
No.
We have, you know how we talk about
production. I mean, yes, it was a first round pick type game. It wasn't a top 15 type pick type game, but it was a first round pick type game. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I wasn't trolling out because, you know, we go back and forth about Queen and whatnot. So that wasn't one of the.
I'm just giving Hamilton his props for a good game.
Go ahead, finish. I know I cut you off.
Oh no, I'm good. But like I said, they played well.
Chris.
Yeah, like you said, Coach, I'm concerned with Marcus Peters. You know, I'm a big Marcus Peters fan, but you know, when you see teams going after him, it's like, damn, you know, they're seeing something. And there was that, I think on the play where he thought he pushed the dude out of bounds. That was actually just, he was just in no man's land. That was a great play design because he was essentially guarding 2 people at once, and then he had to come off of one of the wide receivers. But yeah, he has to pick it up a little bit. I don't know if he just needs a little bit extra rest, but hopefully after the bye we could see that vintage MP. Like Hendo said, Kyle Hamilton, man, he looks like he's just playing now. Like he doesn't look like he's thinking anymore. He looks like he's finally comfortable, and he looks like he's acclimated to the speed of the game now. And he's just out there playing, you know, with not trying to, because you could tell when players are playing, trying not to make a mistake. And I think that's what we saw early on. He was trying not to make a mistake. And now we just see him now, you know, playing freely. So, you know, it's a step in the right direction. I think, you know, once Marcus Williams comes back, it's, you know, everything should be clicking because he was playing at an all-pro level before he got hurt.
What's the timetable for him? Anybody know?
I saw Jeff
December, right?
Jeff Zrebeck said relatively soon. He didn't put a timestamp on it, but he tweeted that today to somebody where he said he should be back relatively soon. I don't know what relatively soon means, but hey, I take it. Hopefully that's 2-3 weeks from now.
What was his injury?
Yeah, that was my question too. He broke his wrist or he dislocated?
I think it was a fracture.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll probably wear a wrist thing and probably however much pain he could take, go from there. Probably gonna have like a plate or something in it. depending on what happened to it. Did Chuck's replacement Geno play last night? Did Geno Stone play last night?
He played all the snaps.
He played every snap at free, if I'm not mistaken. Every snap at free. Jose?
Yeah, I think Kyle Hamilton did really good. I think that's also the Roquan effect, right? I mean, nobody was flying to the ball the way they were last night until Roquan got there, including Hamilton. I think, like I said, I think he's just feeding off that energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the unit as a whole, yeah, B+. The issue with Marcus Peters, it's not concerning to me. This is always who he's been from the time he was back in Kansas City, to the Rams until now. He takes risks, right? And sometimes it works. A lot of times it works, right? But sometimes he gets caught out of position. And yeah, he might be overthinking it a little bit now because he's coming back from injury. He's always been aggressive that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a problem though. Like he goes through these spurts. No matter where he's played, he's always done this. Like he goes through these little spurts where you kind of like, well, what are you doing? He sees something and he trusts what he sees, and sometimes he's wrong. But all in all, it balances out. And I think by the time we get to the end of the year, it's gonna be fine. And I think they picked on him as well because they know that about him. Like, yeah, he's gonna take risks, but you could probably get him on a double move here and there. And the way that defense was playing last night, I mean, where else are you gonna throw the ball? Right? I don't even think it's one of those things where it's just like, oh well, we know we can get something on him. I think it's just that's rather throwing him than Marlon. Right? We gotta throw it somewhere, and rather throw it at him than the Marlon. So yeah, I'm fine with Marcus Peters. I don't think there's going to be any issue. But overall, B+ for the unit.
B.
I would give him a B, and that's just because of the touchdown that they gave up that was dropped. Well, not dropped, but the overthrow from Andy Dalton and the touchdown along the sidelines. I mean, look, whether you think he's out or not, like you guys have said, you just push him out of bounds. You can't just point at him. That doesn't do anything in the NFL. In terms of Marcus Peters, I think what you're really seeing is just he's a 29-year-old ball hawk coming off of a torn ACL. And, maybe it's just not there anymore. He like Jose said, he's always been that guy. He would get beat plays to make up for it and game-changing type of plays. And you haven't seen that from him at all this year, really. So, I mean, we'll see moving forward. Hopefully it's a thing where he's just kind of working his way back. But I think the likelier explanation is just that he's getting a little older. He had a bad injury, and he's probably just not the same guy anymore. In terms of Kyle Hamilton, I mean, he played fine. But, I hope you're not thinking too hard. You've played 5 bad quarterbacks in a row. And you got 3 bad quarterbacks out of your next 4. This is the time where they should be kind of rolling into their playoff form, right? They should be using these games to get ready to be a dominant defense in the playoffs if they can be that. But we'll see later on in the year, what they really are. Because again, this is a pretty soft part of the schedule for them.
All right. And as far as me with the DBs, well, like I said, I talked about it already. I'm worried about what's going on with MP, but hopefully the bye week will, either get him fully healthy or just kind of give him his confidence. I don't think his confidence shot because he'll do it. You can catch 3 touchdowns on him. He ain't gonna lose confidence. So I think it's just, I think it's health. I hope that's all it is. Just worried about not re-injuring what he originally had the injury with. Let's go to coaching and GM real quick. Coaching and GMs. I don't really much to say about the GM. He got Roquan over receiver. That's the same debate from last week. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but coaching wise, they saw the run was working. They ran it. Didn't see the need to throw it a lot. It is what it is. We stuck with them for now because we win a few games, so they ain't going nowhere. Look like we're gonna win enough games for them to be here for the future. Well, Harbaugh's, I don't know about the coordinators, but yeah, it is what it is. Now, just gonna live with it and report what I see. Jose.
Yeah, the GM gets an F, and it has nothing to do with Roquan, right? I think he's an excellent player, but again, like the priority should be putting Lamar in the best position to succeed, and it just seems like they're making him work with less and less as the weeks go on, and even now where there's still a small sliver of hope for him to get some help in Odell, doesn't look like we're even going to be making any phone calls to try to get him. So EC gets an F this whole year because there's not much more he can do at this point to change that. The coaching staff, yeah, I don't think they did anything special, right? I think, especially on the defense, I think Roquan came in there and really, shored everything up, right? And he did that just not even knowing the playbook. So I can't really give. I mean, I'm not going to give my medallion credit for Roquan. That's all Roquan right there.
Mm-hmm.
The offense, it's hard. Giro doesn't have a whole lot of talent to work with. The players aren't going. The wide receivers aren't going to make any plays. The tight ends aren't going to make any real plays. And he's always been limited. Like what he is, right? And once another team, the other team figures out what he's doing, there are no adjustments to be made. Like that's just something that we know about Giro. So much of our success relies on execution, right? So if we're executing, we're going to look great, especially against bad teams. But it's against those better teams when things don't go according to plan. What else do we have in store? And that's where you fall short. So overall, for the game, we won the game. We executed. I'm going to give them a C.
Hendo?
GM, he gets an F. Coach, I keep hearing you saying we chose Roquan over a receiver. Why couldn't we have both? Why does it have to be over? Why is it as a Ravens organization, we always have to choose? Well, Lamar said he wanted an offensive lineman, so that's what we got him. Why couldn't we get both? That's just my only question. I mean,
I'm sure he didn't say trade away my number one wide receiver.
I'm sure he did not say that. Coaching staff.
You got a request, Hendo.
What's it say?
He's give us a wild style cut the beat moment. Oh.
What's that?
Turn the music off, like in the Freestyle Friday. You're like, cut the beat.
Cut the beat. Yes. Coaching staff. I'm gonna give them a C minus. I'm not gonna go too hard on them, but like Jose said, Greg Roman doesn't have talent. But my retort to that is, did we not get and draft the players that Greg Roman needed to run his offense?
Yeah,
so
we haven't talked about that.
Since I
don't even think we did that. We say we did. We don't think we did.
But that's what they say. So if they say that, if they say we drafted this team specifically for Roman and he's not doing anything with it, I'm gonna have to give him a C minus. I give the grad assistant, I give him some credit.
He calls this man a grad assistant.
The grad assistant, he did a little bit better this game, but we have to realize we're playing Andy Dalton in prime time. And Andy Dalton in prime time, he is 9 for 20. He lost his last 7 primetime games, and I think it's mental for him. So what we had going, it wasn't really that hard. Mm-hmm. And to be quite honest with you, if Dennis Allen wasn't such a bad coach, things may have gone a little bit different because I would have put Taysom Hill in. I'd have put Jameis Winston in. We had no answer for Chris Olave. Like we couldn't stop him, just like we couldn't stop Garrett Wilson. And the only reason I say that is we could have used some of those 4th round picks to draft if we won them dudes. But I digress.
Chris?
I give Eric DeCosta a B because we can't just look at one glaring hole and say, oh, yeah, that's an F. It's a complete failure. You look at the Colts, that's an F.
Yeah.
That's an F.
It's an F because they don't have Lamar Jackson.
It's an F because of everything. The wide receivers they drafted.
The Colts possibly have the best offensive lineman in the league and possibly the best running back in the league.
But he's been hurt. Been hurt.
And one of the best defensive linemen in the league with DeForest Buckner.
And one of the best linebackers in the league
too.
with Leonard.
Leonard, yep.
But they just don't have the quarterback.
If we had Matt Ryan here, how many wins do we have right now?
negative 9.
And that's the thing. EDC didn't draft Lamar,
The
right?
reason
So
I
like,
say not many is because
I'm sorry,
non-mobile
Chris, I cut you
quarterback
off.
couldn't stand up
Are you good?
behind our O-line at the beginning of the season. So we wouldn't have won no games at the beginning of the season. They're playing a little better now. But a non-mobile quarterback wouldn't have been able to stand up to what our offensive line was doing at the beginning of the season. Is thing still on?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's waiting for Chris. He's waiting for Chris to finish.
I thought you were still going, Coach. My bad.
I'm done.
No, so obviously, I'm not happy with wide receiver. I mean, how the hell can you be happy? You look at it and, you got dudes who were balling when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not, you got it. What's his name? Benjamin Victor, who's a practice squad player, up dressed for the game.
Was called up before Wallace.
And that hurts my heart, but that's the reality of the situation.
No.
I don't even acknowledge that dude that you just said, B.
No. This is impossible. I've been told all offseason long that Tylan Wallace was Anquan Bolton Jr. This can't be true. I'm dreaming.
Who told you that?
People on Twitter have been saying, "Oh, Tylan Wallace just needs a shot. He reminds me of a young Anquan Bolton. He just goes up and grabs the ball and does all of these things."
When?
You know how they get on Twitter. They just make stuff up. And
Well,
yes,
I like Tylan Wallace, but I don't go out the window like that. I got to see it in the pros first. No, and then on the G-Roll side, I thought G-Roll did well. I mean, when you take away, Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman, and you can put up 27 points and dial up some run plays, and when you look at the run game, it's not like he's just saying, all right, line up and just run it straight down, H-back dive, like this is intricate stuff that he's doing. And, it's like next level run play. And for him to do that with no weapons on there, like as far as outside weapons, I thought it was great. And, obviously Lamar is a big factor in that too, but I give credit to G-Roll in that. And Mike McDonald, I mean, I thought he could, called a good game. I like that blitz that he dialed up on that third down play where Marlowe got the sack.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And it's gonna be a work in progress for him, where he's gonna have to take those lumps like a rookie does. Where you got to learn. Hey, you can't rush 3 and drop everybody back and just have the quarterback just chilling there for 10 seconds.
Right.
He's gonna have to learn those things. But yeah, I thought they did well for the most part. Nothing spectacular, but I thought it was fine.
Gotcha. Did I miss anybody on coaching?
Rodney.
I thought I started with B. I'm tripping. My bad. B, charges to my.
You really are stealing.
Damn.
I'm tripping. B, I got to send you something.
That's right. I ain't gonna be here next week.
We're prepping him for 2 weeks.
But
We play the Panthers.
since you said it, nobody's gonna be here next week. We don't have no game.
I know.
Trust me. Sorry.
No, that's fine. GM gets an F-. He look, getting Roquan, yeah, you got a very good player, right? But it's like, you bought the perfect TV to complete your man cave, but upstairs is on fire, right? And so, I mean, when you look at the offense, you don't have, any NFL caliber starting wide receivers. Now, granted, Rashad was out. He's been decent, and obviously Mark Andrews is out. He's an all-pro type player, but you should have other guys you can go to who are at least competent. So no, I can't with Eric DeCosta. The coaching staff, look, like Hendo was saying, you're playing Andy Dalton. It's not even just that you're playing Andy Dalton. You're playing Andy Dalton minus Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry. So, you're saying, hey,
say Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas been checked out in New Orleans 3 years ago. He just getting paid.
Listen. He's on the roster. He wasn't playing. Okay. Because we want to talk about checked out. We could start every show with saying that about Lamar at this point, right?
Yeah, true.
I mean,
true that.
But so you what really happened is you're playing an inferior team. Baltimore's a much more talented team than New Orleans. And I mean, as much as we like to dump on the coaches, they're a better coach team than New Orleans. So yeah, I mean, I thought, to Chris's point, I thought Greg is doing fine for for what he has to work with at this point. He's still not one of the top 32 offensive coordinators in the world, so he shouldn't have the job, but he's in it. He has what he has to work with, and through 9 games now, I mean, he's doing a pretty decent job. So I mean, maybe he can get the old mutual parting of ways instead of get the hell out of my office at the end of the
said
season.
that his contract is over with after this year. Somebody put in the chat box. I don't know if that's true or not. That his contract is over with at the end of this year.
He's one of the highest paid coordinators in the league too. It's embarrassing.
Now, let me ask you this question. This is to everybody. With the lack of receivers on the team and on the field, do you agree with the play caller the last 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not in the first half of the Bucs game.
No, yeah. No, I would agree. I would agree with that the first half. I mean, 3/4 of their secondary was hurt. So you try to see what you can do against them. I agree with it.
Outside of the amount that you run Lamar, yes.
Facts.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But the problem is I don't think that they can really run the ball without running Lamar. It's the problem.
That's my problem with it too. Is like so much of this, all the success of the run game relies on Lamar. Mm-hmm. If Lamar had a game where he's just like, I'm not running on any of these options, I'm just handing the ball off, that would be an ugly game.
Yep. Because we don't have a lot of traditional runs. That's why.
Yeah. And Frank Reich is available to be an OC.
There you go.
That he is. But from what I heard, Nick Sirianni was doing all of the offensive work in Indianapolis. But,
is that what they're saying?
That's what I heard. So a few people have said, and that's why
is he with the Jets now? I mean, with the Eagles now?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
What do you? I know this is very off topic, but I mean, what the hell is going on with Jeff Saturday?
Let's talk about that. And I normally don't watch a lot of the morning shows, but before we decided to leave, I was watching the shows, and I think it's a real consensus out there that them picking him up to do that is a slap in the face to every coach that has tried to take the steps to be a head coach. True. Whether it be, and I don't think it's necessarily just a black and white thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's because you can have some white guys that's trying to do it the traditional way, and just because he know the owner, he got bumped up over everybody. So it's mostly a black thing, but I don't think it's necessarily a straight black and white thing, because to me it's nepotism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nepotism is a hell of a drug. And look, we know it's not a black thing because Jim Irsay said, "Look, it's that's not what it is." He has black friends.
My best friend's black.
And you can't trust Jim Irsay's word. Who can you, right?
Is Irsay the same person that wanted Lamar to go play?
No, that's Polian.
That was Bill Polian.
Yeah. But it worked for the Colts, though, didn't it?
At one point in time, he did.
So I thought so.
He was the GM.
But my issue with Jim Irsay was the fact that he said, "Oh, I'm glad he doesn't have head coaching experience."
Right.
But when it comes to these regular interviews and black head coaches, the excuse always given is you don't have experience. That's why we didn't hire you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it is what it is. But hey, more power to him. You own a team. You can do what you want to do. Yeah. You'll be the laughing stock. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I respect it for the tank.
Right. Oh, that's what it is. The tank.
Look, this is how we're going to finally get our franchise quarterback again instead of getting these geezers.
They said they don't have a single person over there who's ever called plays.
Right.
They're like, whatever.
Yeah.
How many times do you think they've called Andrew Luck since he's been retired?
Come on, bro.
They don't even got his number anymore once he saw them calling. I saw that their OC, he's 30 years old, never called plays ever.
Well, the guy, I don't know if you're talking about the same guy, but the guy that they said is going to do it he was like their assistant quarterbacks coach or something, and they're just like, yeah, you call plays this week, bro. And I don't know. I will say this would be a lesson to that guy. What is his name? Easterby, or
Yes,
that used to work for Houston, who the last couple of years kind of floated it out there that he wanted to hire Josh McCown with absolutely no coaching experience and got shredded in the media. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Like,
lastly, and before we get up out of here, I saw this I took a picture of this while I was watching it. It says, and some of y'all may have saw it. I saw it on Get Up. They led by 10 plus points in each of the first 9 games, which is what the Ravens did. Now I'm gonna reel off the records for everybody that has done that, except for I'll say the Ravens for last. Packers 9-0, Saints 9-0, Giants 8-1, Dolphins, Bills, Chargers, Bears 9-0. We're 6-3, so that really didn't fit with the way we've done. But I think lately, I don't think we had that problem on the back end of the season. But my problem is can we get up by 10 points on people now with all the injuries on the offensive side? That's the problem, because we were fairly healthy offensively at first, and we were able to get ahead and score points and get people down. Now with the way the injury is rotating in and out, when one person get healthy, somebody else get hurt, can we even get 10-point leads on the tough teams down the stretch? But even though we don't have that many tough teams left,
we don't have
really
any.
Going to the playoffs, really.
Yeah, the playoffs is the question. But look, I mean, it's just a matter of we're going to get the guys back, but are they going to stay healthy? If they stay healthy, yeah, we could do it. All right, because that defense is going to force the other team into some turnovers. They're going to they'll get the ball back for us a few times for us to do something with it, and it's just a matter of can we execute, right? Because there's just little room for error on the offensive side of the ball. If we can execute, take time off the clock, put some points up, yes. But that relies on our ability to stay healthy, and we haven't been able to do that for a while now.
Anybody else want to tackle it?
I'm skeptical on the whole philosophy of defense in this day and age. I said it before, and we saw the Bills' #1 defense last year give up over 40 points in the playoffs. So I'm just skeptical that you can have a dominant defense be able to carry you throughout the playoffs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I really don't think you can. You have to have a defense who can make timely stops, and that's really the best you can hope for. I mean, everything is matchup, right? Like if Baltimore gets into the playoffs, I mean, they look like they're going to win the division at this point. But right now, if they win the division at the season end of the day, you're hosting the Dolphins. How good do you feel about that, having to stop Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, right? If you run into Tennessee or you run into the Jets, then you feel pretty good about that, right? Like Zach Wilson is Zach Wilson. I mean, we don't beat Zach Wilson.
This is facts.
But Kansas City, Buffalo, Miami. I mean, I would be very concerned.
Them on the 3 that. Well, I still fear Cincinnati too when they're healthy, but them the only teams that like scare me.
Yeah, but that's 4 out of the 7. I mean, we're only talking about
they may have to play each other first, depending on where we fall.
Man, Tyreek Hill already has 1,100 yards on the season.
Right.
I mean, he pushing 2 Gs.
Hey, Coach.
Yeah.
Even if they play each other, we still would have to get through at least one of them.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying we ain't got to face the gauntlet to get to it. We got to play 1, maybe 2 of them.
The AFC East runner-up, we may have to play first.
Yeah. And that would be the Jets.
Buffalo or Miami.
Yeah.
But
the same division with the Jets. Ooh.
But we could say that too, but the Dolphins still got to play defense. I mean, they just gave up 32 points to the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, the Bears are the #1 offense over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Wait a minute.
I don't care.
The Saints, yardage wise, the Saints had the most yards in the NFL.
Oh no, I mean points per drive.
That's a lot more. That's a lot more meat on that stat.
Because my guy Justin Fields,
that boy had 103 fantasy points.
The once in future Carolina Panther franchise quarterback has turned the corner. All right, and the NFL is on notice. Okay, but yeah, they got to play defense. But I mean, what does playing defense against Baltimore mean?
And on that note, where can you find lunch break hot take? Where can you find lunch break hot take?
That's the super looking at the
like I'm out of line over here.
Hashtag 90.
All right. We are the lunch break hot take. If you like those hot takes that be serving up there, you can find more of those every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. We also do an overtime show directly after that for our patrons at patreon.com/LBHT show. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT show. And if you see on my shirt right here, Ring Kings Podcast, that's the boxing channel that we do with our friend, Mr. OTR Mike, that's in the chat. Ring Kings Podcast. We put out a new episode every Monday at noon on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. I should have mentioned you can also find Lunch Break Hot Take wherever you listen to podcasts as well. And you can follow us at Ring Kings Pod, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And there's Mr. OTR Mike right there. Open Mic with OTR Mike is where you can find his channel. He puts out a podcast on Mondays as well. As soon as you wake up, it will be there. That goes out at 5 a.m. in the morning. So make sure you subscribe, and wherever you listen to podcasts, check them out.
And listen, if you have any topics that you would like to hear Mike cover, hit him up on Twitter and let him know.
Yes.
That's underscore.
That's
OTR
underscore Mike
on Twitter. All right. Chris.
You catch me on a Deep Cover Pod. We try to record every Wednesday, but don't hold me to that. And then I'll be dropping a video sometime next week on the offensive guard class for the 2023 draft because I don't have a life.
You can find me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. on YouTube at Ravens Online on Gatekeeper. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at RGatekeepers.
And for me personally, you here, so you know where to find me. But I will say, and I don't know if any of you guys are out there, but the few people that stopped me this weekend and chopped it up and took pictures and whatnot, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you. My little cousin was with me, and he was like, "Do people know you?" Yeah. Like I've been telling. Remember Hendo? We talked about family. My little cousin was with me and didn't realize that people would know me.
Right.
Really watch like talking about it, but he was at the game.
Right.
So
there you go.
That's support.
The people it was crazy to be recognized. That was crazy to me, and to get the reaction from different people. It just was crazy. I don't really know how to describe it, but it was fun to see and to chop it up with people, and especially meeting new people that's all about football. But I put everybody's link to their channels in the description. Even I put Mike's down there too. So go, if you have not, when we end the stream, go down there, click it, and it should take you right to them. I think Ravens Girl she said she subscribed to all. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
LBHT 7:15 tomorrow. Deep cover. You gotta hit that bell because you never know when you're getting them.
It's a surprise to Chris.
And Hendo, do you have a certain schedule? I know my stuff is random too. It's when I can fit them in.
I mean, I do the live streaming on Sunday evenings, but I normally throw a pregame video out on Thursday afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I just decide to do some random video, or I get a Patreon request, request.
Hendo does do Patreon requests. So if you join his Patreon, you could ask him for at least, what was it, a 10-minute video you last time?
A 10-minute live stream once a month.
Oh, there it is. So you go get in his Patreon. You are the EP of that show for that day.
2022 only.
that is a lifetime benefit, and Hendo will never stream for less than 30 minutes.
Hey, again, appreciate you guys for coming through. We had almost 300-ish. I hope y'all hit the like button. If you have not done so, please do so. And to answer Mike's question, and I must be living right because this fell exactly right. My wife's birthday is Monday. We don't have a game this week. So there is no
happy birthday.
There is no roundtable next Monday. So we are all on the bye week, and it just fell just right to me. So I'll be in Tampa for the whole weekend.
Must be nice.
Well, you gotta do what she say. She say she want to go somewhere. You gotta do that.
Facts.
Or you gotta sleep like this. And there she is in chat. Hey, but again, we're gonna end it like this. Hit the like button on your way out, and hey, I appreciate y'all. Peace. Y'all don't hang up. Let me end this.